6 extinction event.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
Nah,
man. No more Nat Geo for you.
Nah, no, it's bad, everybody. Like,
It is 9:30 on a Thursday night, and you're tuned into Beltway Radio and Beyond, which can mean one and only thing. This is ChipChat. Welcome to ChipChat, everybody. I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
you just told him, buddy.
All right. Well, yeah. Welcome back. It's been a week. We're back on regular schedule now.
We are.
Yeah.
So is the world.
Whoever's making us do this every week sucks. He should not be in charge of anything.
When's our next day off? When's the summer break?
No, we're excited. Next week is going to be a really big show.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. But yeah, welcome to this is a special edition of Chip Chat. Because this week there are two wars, and the president is attacking the courts, and Congress can't do anything, and it feels very much like the show that we just did. I gotta say, I mean, I was posting a bunch of the clips today, and I was like, I feel like we just talked about all that.
We're in reruns already.
Yeah, it's summertime, right? So that's what you do. All right, no, I know how it's different. We had white supremacists on the metro, and this time they identified themselves. That's how you can tell.
You know,
normally they're just the ones riding towards Shady Grove. That's
freedom.
I'm not. That's a very inside DC joke, but that's funny. Just so you know, that side. If you're on the red line towards Shady Grove, it's a lot of white people. If you're on the green line, anywhere, not. They're not green people either, but you would have thought. Anyway, okay. Yeah. So then Maine, there's like something going on. Whoever thought Maine would matter? Most people don't even know it's there. Even people in Maine. And whatever. Iran, Ukraine, Trump sucks, Mitch is dead, blah, blah, blah.
Allegedly. I mean, no, not allegedly. I don't even know. I don't know why.
Not.
All right.
He's done nothing to refute this. Everybody's had 20-minute conversations with him.
Oh my God, the lawyers are calling me.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I'll pick up after.
Our show's legal department is really worried about what we're about to say. They're about as worried as they ever are. Yeah, so it's gonna be weird.
It's a short one.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We're gonna try. We're gonna try to keep it short tonight. I don't know. I didn't get to watch any of the France game.
I couldn't either. Yeah.
I had to work.
Same.
Which is, the most American thing is like ignoring the French to do your job. And but Mbappe got another goal. Dembele got another goal. I feel like colonialism is going to win this World Cup. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's upsides to it. There are legit upsides to fucking up the rest of the world, is that France is like really good at soccer now. Zinedine Zidane.
Well, this one is by way of Africa.
Okay, by way of Africa, by way of the Middle East. I mean, wasn't he like Algerian or like? I think that's where Zidane's family.
Yeah. Actually, he might be.
So that's African too, I guess technically.
It is.
It's on the continent. If Morocco's in Africa, then so is Algeria.
Yes,
and Egypt. Egypt got screwed. Allegedly. Yeah. It's going to be fun. I don't know what else to say for the intro, but I got to come up with a word, and I'm struggling at that because Oh no, I got a word. Okay, it took me a minute, but I'm ready.
Mine is kind of a two. Oh no, it could be one word.
It's a compound word.
Compound word, yeah.
There you go. Okay. So, yeah, sit back, grab some
fresh water.
It's scum time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Scum. All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
Tez. I don't know what happened.
We're here.
There we go. I got thrown off by our killer graphics department. Those guys are incredible.
You can't get thrown off by the video. Remember, as long as the mics are on, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's watching this.
No,
everybody's listening. Oh, no, I tried to be nice this time.
All right. So yeah, it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, the headlines.
Oh Yay. Man.
All right. Now, as per usual, Tez hasn't read any of this. I'm assuming.
No,
and, he gets to go first.
All right. Let's see what's going to jeopardize my future career by saying something I did not write. All right, moving along. Mitch McConnell remains hospitalized after an undisclosed health issue, but his staff say he is receiving excellent care, which is what he made sure regular Americans couldn't have. That's true. That's fully true.
That's very true.
It's true. Actually, I don't have any issue with that one.
Yep. Mitch McConnell isn't dead. He just ran out of cocaine.
All right, I might have had an issue with that one.
Yeah.
I'll eat Mitch McConnell.
I'm ready. Reports are that Mitch McConnell can't die, at least not until the devil gets a permit to increase temps in hell to the levels that were here in D.C.
Yes, that's right. Governor Andy Beshear sent McConnell's office a request for proof of life, but of course they haven't been able to prove that he's been alive since 2017.
Yeah, the last time he looked alive was when he was blocking Merrick Garland.
Yep.
Trump took in the fireworks from a climate control box while his supporters suffered in the heat and thunderstorms because his metaphor is dead.
That's true.
It's true too. I'm gonna.
It's true. We have just literally run out of metaphor.
Yeah.
Yes. Petri wrote a whole column about that. You should go back and look at it. It's really funny. All right. The former Pfizer headquarters is going through a renovation, but it started to buckle a little bit. Officials gave it a little bit of Viagra, and it stiffened right up.
The former Pfizer headquarters is midway through a major change and got a little wobbly. Officials said that this happens in a lot of buildings in midlife and prescribe Viagra to straighten things up. Okay,
there you go. There's two flavors of the same joke, but they were both funny.
I mean, I guess it's fitting that you could, what's the name, in the sense of like beat it into the ground, but you know.
Yes, it's good that we could go again right afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah,
really came through.
No. I'm not touching that with a several inches long pole.
I mean, the way you erect this show.
No. Nope. Where's the Mitch McConnell stuff? All right. Maybe that's what he needs.
Hard transition.
Oh. No. Oh my God.
This day.
Hey! There we go.
There it is. All right, now we can move on.
All right. Trump fought off the ceasefire with Iran, calling the leaders of the country scum, much like what he recently installed in the reflecting pool.
Yeah, he installed scum into the.
Yes.
That's actually what happened.
That's actually what happened.
On the 4th of July, Joey Chestnut ate 66 hot dogs to win the Nathan's Famous contest on Coney Island. And on Nantucket Island, RK Jr. ate 6 sick dogs. So basically the same thing. Yes. They're eating the dog.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
I'm still, fuck that election, man. That's crazy, man. I don't care what anybody says. That is some fucking racist ass shit, and I can't believe it's. Anyways, fuck that election. That's crazy.
I can't believe that didn't absolutely doom everything.
What? It's where? Yeah, you're right. I believe you about these other folks, the rest of this country, for that we're here after that.
Barge?
No.
Okay. I'm very proud of that RFK joke, by the way. Yeah, that's a good one. In the World Cup, Portugal lost to Spain in a contest many people said contained no intelligible language.
Jesus Christ.
That's funny if you speak Spanish, like from this hemisphere.
Right. Yeah, because what are they talking about?
I'm sure that they can understand it in Europe. We just don't care. But nobody here can understand Spain Spanish. They're making it up as they go. And Portuguese may as well be drunk in Spain Spanish. So, no.
You know what type of bread you eat with 6 dogs?
What? I'm afraid. What?
Pita bread. That'll be the one. That'll be the one. One reason I don't work in this town again. It'll be that one.
I feel like after that joke, we may have to call the Humane Society.
Yo, like, all right, like we do with Sandy Hook. Get us one of those. All right?
Yeah, we need a
now.
Can we donate to somebody for that one? Yeah. We're very sorry.
One time donation on that one.
Oh my God, Haitian Relief Fund.
Yeah. All right, this is perfect. England defeated Mexico in the battle for who could chant the most offensive things, and also football.
Yeah, it says soccer.
I know.
Both fan bases say some horrific shit just in song.
Can we just say, and I know that it's crazy. Well, I don't care. The English fans are the worst looking fans of the whole fucking.
Yeah, they're not a pretty.
It's a bad man every time.
They live on a dark island separated from everybody. Like, if it weren't for colonialism, they would have turned themselves completely jawless and inbred. The gene pool in Britain is as shallow as the reflecting pool and filled with very similar stuff.
I'm glad you didn't say the other S word, because that would have been crazy. I thought you were similar to scum. I was like, that's kind of gone too far. No, it's bad. And they all
interpret it however you want.
And they also all look like Arsenal fans. Like, all the English fans give off the same, like, jittery, nervy, but like a nervy look. Like that match when they would, until it was like, till Kane like solidified it. All the shots, they look very nervy. And it's like, God, it feels like I'm watching an Arsenal match.
They
don't look confident.
They don't look condition of being British is being sort of unhappy and nervous all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, because think about historically, we're more than 50 years since the last time the Germans bombed them. They're kind of due. So they're like, they could be any minute now. They haven't been in a world war in a long time. They're feeling a little anxious.
Yeah. Oh my God. In Atlantic did an article, and I'm blanking on the title is really good. I should actually find it and give the title of it. But they basically were saying like how Britain has become as poor as Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of London, that country is destitute.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
And they can't read or speak English. So they basically are Mississippi.
Stop it, damn it.
It's true. Go to the north part of England and see if you can understand any of them. They don't speak English. Just saying. Go to Birmingham. Uh-oh. We have breaking news already?
Yeah, we have a live feed from the home of the Prime Minister. Stand by. Hold on a second. We gotta get this going because you know how the BBC so the BBC has something going on. Hold on a second.
Oh God, and we're piping that in.
Nation grows as the British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer is preparing to announce his resignation, possibly as early as this morning.
Well, Francine, we've been waiting for the podium to appear here in Downing Street. I can tell you that there were a lot of journalists on
Rains away, it rarely comes back. We saw it with May, we saw it with Johnson. The social media.
The cat survived.
What? So what happens if Andy's like allergic to cats now? Like when he gets there, does Larry have to go?
Good question.
Do you think Andy can save labor?
You know what? At this point, I'd give him a shot.
Give him a shot. I want the Greens to take over. Forget him. All right. Where are we at here? Good job, Larry the Cat. Thank you for making fun of England even more than we did.
We're on Norway.
Oh, yeah. Norway. You ready? Norway beat Brazil using a guy born in England and named after the Netherlands, which angered American fans who now had to learn things about geography.
It's facts.
It's all true. You can look it up.
Argentina knocked out Egypt after the Pharaohs started with a 2-goal lead. In the post-game presser, Argentina star Lionel Messi thanked FIFA for their assistance in restoring trust in the betting institutions.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yep. And finally, the U.S. lost to Belgium, causing Trump to issue new tariffs on Belgian chocolate and waffles, prompting major shortages at Roscoe's. Yeah, that's a waffles joke.
That's a waffles joke.
And a Belgium joke. What are they going to do? Yell at me in Walloon? That's a language. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So Belgium is a crazy country that basically doesn't exist, right? There's no such thing as a Belgian person.
Right.
So half of the country, the lower half, speaks French, and the upper half speaks Walloon. They're the Walloons that they speak Dutch, but they don't want to say it's Dutch. And so they speak Walloon, and it's Wallonia is the name of that half of the country. And it is made of two groups of people who have nothing in common with each other except that they hated the countries that they were already in. So like it was a group of French people who were mostly Protestant and pissed off at Catholic France. And they're like, we want to leave. And then a group of Dutch Catholics who were pissed off at Protestant Holland and were like, we want to leave that too. And they're like, all right, let's make our own country. And then they did. And that's it. There's no ethnicity called Belgian. There's nothing really there. They don't even have a common language. They don't like each other. These two regions, they went 560 days without a government. Like, it's not a real place, okay? Belgium's not a real place. But they're winning in soccer through colonialism. Hooray! Number 9, Former Everton great. There are a lot of former Everton greats in this round of the tournament, and also on the coaching staffs. I mean, former Everton great Carlo Ancelotti probably getting fired in Brazil, but
yeah.
Okay, those are the headlines. How's everybody feel about the headlines? About as good as ever.
Not as good as ever. These ones, they're actually rather tame.
Yeah,
they're rather tame.
Our writers are on break.
Yeah,
it's summertime.
I
get to do all the heavy lifting. I like the Viagra jokes. Those were pretty funny.
Those are good. Yeah. Stand up, like literally.
They got your attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just kind of poke you right in the ribs a little bit.
Huh? Oh
God. Hey, sometimes you need a stiff one after something like that.
Jesus Christ. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum.
Dick joke, chat.
I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, sometimes.
All right, you want to take a break?
Yeah, I think we need to.
All right, we're going to take a break and thank our sponsor, Blue Chew, and whoever else. And they did sponsor our show once. That is true. Once? Yeah, okay. Before you got here, they gave us $100 to talk about them for a whole episode, and that was great. We're very, very excited to participate. We gave it a good, strong effort. Yeah. All right. We're done with that. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Chip Chat on Boatway Radio and beyond.
Sweet.
Before you hit that door, baby, you better check that curl. Cleavon told me so. Alarm clock ringing, sunlight on my face. Can't step outside with the curl out of place. Mirror say player, better tighten that loop. A dry ass curl, brother, that ain't the move. I need that drip, I need that shine to behave. Need my curl looking slick as Rick James. From the roots to the tips, let it flow like truth. Ain't nothing poppin' till I grab the juice. Oh, African berry juice is so pure, curl so full, yeah, it's blessed for sure. Prince Hakeem dreams in every strand, but without them chemicals messing up my hands. Get the juice, get it, to keep your curl loose. Strip so clean, shine so smooth, one splash hit and you know the truth. Get the juice, to keep your curl loose. From the crown to the roots, ain't no curl curling without the juice. Keep your curl the juice. Yeah. Unfiltered water, straight from Lake Victoria. Tanzania minerals, bring the curl euphoria. Hit it once, 5 to 10 minutes strong. Then evaporation, say player, you've been warned. Summer heat, turn curls to an afro quick. So keep a bottle close, yeah, that's the trick. Reapply on the go, keep the motion improved. Stay glossy all day with the juice. No harsh chemicals, no itchy scalp, no greasy couch stains. Don't mess up my headrest, man. Just shine, luster, and drip, and drip, and drip. Oh, get the juice, get it, to keep your curl loose. Let it sway, let it shine, that curl pattern working overtime. Get the juice, to keep your curl loose. If your mirror smile back, yeah, you already know the truth. Keep it for the juice.
2 months ago, we had 100. I told this story yesterday. We had 111 missiles shot by the Islamic Republic of Japan. They were shot at the aircraft carrier over a period of about 1 hour. 111 missiles going to a very expensive ship, and every one of those missiles was knocked down. Pretty much most by Patriots, but by other means also, as you know.
Yeah.
Other less expensive means. It's even better when you do that. But out of the 111 missiles, every one of them was shot down. It didn't hit the ship, and bad things happen, right, when that happens. So think of that, over a period of 1 hour, these missiles are coming at you, and every one of them shot down. So I think one of the things we're going to be talking about is, as you know, the companies, we have great power over the companies. Those companies that make the Patriot and make all of the great stuff, the Tomahawks, all of the great stuff. We have the best stuff.
Yeah. Welcome back to ChipChat from the Islamic Republic of Japan.
What?
Yo, his brain is pudding. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. We have great power over the companies.
Companies. What? I thought.
Okay.
Wait, I thought he was angry at socialism and communism.
Yeah. He hates communism, but he wants the government to like seize the means of production.
I
think the companies in both cases is Raytheon, though. I know Raytheon makes the Tomahawk. I'm pretty sure they also make the Patriot, but I could be wrong about that. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're all the same thing. What do you mean you have? What are you talking about, guy? We're not even at war. You said the war's over. There's no war. Congress hasn't funded any war. Congress hasn't declared any war. There's no war effort. There's no this isn't when they were like, all right, GM, you're going to make tanks now. Like, it's not that at all. This is, I don't know. Have you bought any war bonds lately, Tez?
I have not.
How's your Victory Garden doing?
Terrible.
Yeah. Did you steal all your wife's stockings and donate them for the parachutes for our boys overseas?
No,
none
of this.
Not gathering peach pits for the gas mask drives?
No.
Yeah. Did you know that? Did you remember that? That was like a thing. So like the gas masks that the soldiers needed, the filters have to be made of carbon, and what they figured out was a great source of that was peach pits.
Interesting.
Peaches and nectarines and plums and all that, all the stone fruit.
Big stone,
it's good, dense, carbon rich stuff. So they wanted everybody to collect up their peach pits and donate them, and then they grind them up to make the filters for your gas masks. In a real war.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some wars.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's our favorite topic. So this is the Rundown War Edition. This is where I tell you about some stuff that's gone on in the wars. Don't make Jay do this one. That's not nice to him.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Ukraine, or as all the Michigan fans say, go blue. And yeah, thanks. So Ukraine has been successfully marauding the Russian economy by sending their own missiles and drones deep into Russia, specifically targeting oil and gas infrastructure. They've had tremendous success basically fucking up the Russian ability to make fuel. And so like Russia's a big oil producer. That's true. Everybody knows about that. But it's not enough to just produce fuel. You have to refine, or to produce oil, you have to refine that into fuel. You can't just like stick a straw in the ground and like whatever comes out goes in your car. Doesn't work like that. You have to separate out the good stuff and the bad stuff and do a lot of things. Remember when we had our friend Fred on, he talked about like the robots that he's building that clean the bottoms of these oil tanks, the amount of sludge and gooey nonsense and misery that's in these tanks. It's all toxic and terrible. So like the Ukrainians are like, oh yeah, they got all these tanks full of fuel and oil and the refineries. Let's blow that up. And the Russians and the Americans, we're not too dissimilar in terms of like things that we care about, right? Americans really care about like when's there a coupon for Arby's, but we also care a lot about gas and gas prices because we got to drive everywhere because our country's giant and everything's far apart and stuff, and we hate public transportation.
And it's the price that we see the most.
Yeah, it's also glaring in our face all the time, right?
Yeah.
So the Russians also buy a lot of gas because they also drive everywhere. I don't know if you know this, but Moscow has like 6 beltways, if you can imagine. That's true. Go look on a map. They have like 6 beltways, and the Russians drive a lot. And then they also have those dash cameras that film all the crazy shit that we put on our TV. And so they're very dependent on that. And the Ukrainians are like, yeah, well, the Russians definitely need gas, and we're going to blow that shit up. And they've been doing it. And they hit the big refineries in Moscow. They hit the biggest refinery out in Siberia, all the way out in Siberia. They're hitting stuff in St. Petersburg. They're just like successfully fucking up the Russians. So the Russians are like, that's it. We're going like full scale. So they've just been launching missiles and stuff at a tremendous rate. And they have now effectively spent down a lot of Ukraine's defensive capabilities, specifically regarding missiles. The Ukis are good at making drones, and they can shoot down the Iranian-made or Iranian-created, now flown by Russia, Shahed drones and all of these other things. They can handle. But the missiles, they really need Patriot missiles to shoot down. And they're running out. And so the NATO summit was just this week, and Zelensky was there, and he was trying, and like, it's not a gift exactly, but as this NATO summit is getting ready to start, the Russians launched this barrage at Kyiv and killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And blew up a bunch of apartment buildings and stuff. All of the ballistic missiles launched by Russia struck their targets, underscoring Kyiv's need for more U.S.-made Patriot interceptor missiles, a point Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky did reiterate at the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey. So, as if to prove his point, the Russians were like firing everything. This is a stalemate upon stalemate where somehow everybody's dying. It's so Stalingrad in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's in the same part of the world, and it's just like waves of people dying with nothing changing. The Americans have no patience to help the Ukrainians. The Europeans are basically doing everything they can.
Yeah.
But I think there's much more they can do without American assistance, specifically regarding some of these specific munitions, whether it's THAADs or whether it's Patriots.
I think it's hard though when again, because the whole world order has kind of been flipped upside down, and for years there's an expectation, there are agreements that the United States would actually provide and actually fulfill the commitment that they made a promise to Europe after World War II. And I think Europe needs to, and I think they have started, right? I mean, they've started to realize that there is this like, what is the post-America
what happens if America's not there?
Yeah, and I think they're starting to figure that out. And I mean, I can only imagine for years thinking like, oh, well, we don't really have to because we have the world's strongest army that will kind of go ahead and bolster what we have in the event that, again, there's another aggressor in Europe, and we have that clearly with Vladimir Putin. And yeah, I think they will get to that point, but they're obviously not there yet. But it does seem like their governments are actually trying to make those changes because they're aware.
Yeah, it takes a really fundamental change though, because it's not just that they like kind of didn't care to do these things. The whole NATO system reorganized itself to basically, like, all right, let's say you got a group of people and you're planning an activity, right? And you're like, all right, we're gonna go out and do a cookout. Okay. Now, we all have different relevant skills. I am useful at cooking on the grill. Tez is useful at music, and Brian is useful at arranging for various exotic dancers to show up at the event. And like we all will do our thing to make the event successful, right? Even if we're not each doing all of the things, we're each doing a part, and that's kind of how we are going to move, right? And that's how groups work. NATO has for nearly 100 years now, I mean, it's 80 years, been doing it that way, where the Americans' job is to build the arsenal and be ready to supply. The Europeans are the ones who are like effectively ready to operate the equipment and have the shit happen on their territory, knowing that we've got an ocean to protect us. So like, and we've all been doing bits and pieces of it, whether, and it's, you can even see it. This is getting like way too technical, but you can look at some of the equipment that we use, the NATO countries use, and see the multinational aspects to it, where you've got planes that are partly built in one country and then finish assembled in another country, or, you know, various types of other equipment that's like that. It's all through the arsenal. The Americans are using stuff that's partially built in France. I mean, it's just like a thing that we do. And now, for lack of a better word, the good guys are having to figure out, what are we going to do when one of those people, if Brian's not there to make the exotic dancers show up, like, what's the point of the cookout?
But see, the thing is, it's like for everybody to have all those different parts, we still all agree that we want to do the cookout. And that's the thing. It's a similar, like, actually, this is a Steve Jobs thing here. And he said one time, he's like, hey, all right, in groups, to your point earlier, we all need to want to go to San Diego, right? And as long as we're all on the page that we want to go to San Diego, then we can talk, well, how do we get there, right? Are we going to use it? Are we going to take a train? Are we going to drive, right? But the problem right now is that, like, America don't want to go to San Diego, right? And like, if you're right, if it's NATO, right? Or your example, they don't want a cookout. They don't actually want to have a cookout actually at all. So they don't want to actually, they don't want to be involved in this. And then that is shocking, because it's like, all right, well, we've always wanted to do this.
Always had this cookout. Like, this has always been the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you are the person who is or like, let's say you being the person grilling the food, if you're saying, well, I don't want to grill, that means you don't want to cook out.
Yeah. It means that the whole thing isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you and Brian would have to come up with some alternative plan.
And now, again, we're trying to figure out, all right, well, shit, now, okay, how do we turn this grill on? Oh, shit, the flames, like, yeah, right? Like, that is what I think Europe is doing at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know that they really have the capacity to do that stuff very easily or quickly. Their industrial system,
one way,
yeah, their industrial system isn't really tailored to that. Also, not to be too American-y about this, but like, their laws and regulations make it harder to build death equipment. Like, they're not as keen on building missiles and bombs and stuff that can kill everybody, because the European mindset is, maybe we shouldn't kill everybody. And the American mindset is like, we want to kill everybody. And this is a good arrangement, because the Europeans do actually want the ability to fight. They just don't want to like be the ones to initiate it. They want to have the Americans ready to supply them when they do got to do it. And the Americans are all too happy to build weapons, especially if we can make money while we do it. So that's the thing that's, like, to me, very shocking about this, is that throughout history, even when Americans don't want to get in a war, we certainly don't have any problems selling stuff to everybody else in the war.
Right.
Or lend lease, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Like, if there's a way to make $1 putting a warhead on a rocket or whatever, yeah, we'll fucking do that thing in a heartbeat. How many of these, what do you need? England, how many you want? If the Germans are willing to pay for it, then fucking make the missiles and sell it to them. Shit, what do we have to lose about that? I don't understand that. Here's Trump out here making $1 billion selling fake crypto to idiot people in his stupid cult, and he can make 10 times that selling fucking Trump-branded Patriot missiles to the Germans to give to the Ukis to shoot down the goddamn Russians. And it's never ending. It's not like the war is going to end at that rate, right? So you can just keep making money until the Germans run out of money or whatever. It seems obvious. I'm starting to think Trump might not be a very good businessman. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Could be wrong.
Is there any resolution coming here? I mean, you know, the NATO summit, they're all meeting. Everybody's antsy about Ukraine and Russia. They're still antsy. The Olympics is going to let Russia back in. Everybody's just kind of like fine with it. Where are we at here? Give me your European, I know Brexit happened, but give me your European angle on, like, where's the outcome here?
A greater American involvement. And I don't think that happens until you have a change of administration. So,
and even then, do you think that there's the political capital, the political will to do that?
I don't, that yet to be seen, because now I need to see what does a Congress look like that goes with a new administration, right? Who's in that Congress? Because like
a progressive leftist Congress is not going to be interested in a full-on war with Russia,
right? Exactly, and but I do think there's still around that commitment to the larger spread of Russia taking over other areas of Europe. I think that's frightening enough for Americans.
Do you think Russia has to invade yet another country for this to actually tip?
That could be one thing. I don't think Russia would do that, because I think
they're smart enough not to do that.
Smart enough not to do that. But I do think there needs to be, again, the administration change needs to be here, because it just needs to be more, I would say, there does need to be more defensive funding, right, to Ukraine. Like I think, or in the sense of providing them something, right? Because what the attack just showed is that, they are very vulnerable, right? And that is because there's not been a commitment, in the sense, like, from us to bolster what the Europeans are able to provide, because they
several weeks ago, this same attack was less successful,
right?
Because they had more munitions. So, I mean, yeah, but how do you make that case? How do you make the case to an American public that doesn't want to be involved in the first place that this is critical?
Yeah, that's the art of persuasion. And I just don't know the American public at this point. It feels like this isolationism, like this, like almost like the populism that's kind of swept over here, doesn't, I think it's been changed forever, right? And this does look different. I don't have a good answer on that. I mean, it will come to an end.
I blame W, because W basically gets us into a war of choice that drags on forever and ever, and puts us in a position where both left and right are like done with this, where we don't want this anymore. There's no Eisenhower middle of the country anymore that is like, well, I don't want to do it, but we got to do the right thing, and we're going to get it over with quick, and just fucking land and fight your way across or whatever. That's gone, and I don't think it comes back. There's no collective unifying drive of Americanism anymore to like go shape the world in our own image, even though we were so successful at it, have been so successful at it. There's just not like a desire to do that anymore. And I blame W, because if the Iraq war hadn't happened, right? The Afghanistan war was bad enough, but you could very easily make a case that had to happen, right? We got attacked. We got to go fuck them up. But Iraq didn't need to happen at all. That was totally false, totally made up. And it created a generation, our generation of wounded and damaged military service members or former retired service members who were like live streaming to their family the horrors of this, and they're like, nobody wants this. Nobody wants it at all. And we're all turned off by it. And now it's our generation that's coming up into power in Congress. And look at how many of the people in Congress are former service members who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's not a small number. And
huge.
They don't want to do that again. And they think that and they rightly think that this is not a great move. But it's still the Russians don't have that problem. They don't care if their population doesn't want to fight the war. They're going to fight the war. This is a fundamental problem of democracy, that where the authoritarians have this ability to move where democracies don't. And it comes down to wars. It comes down to environmental policy. It comes down to economic policy. We can't move like they can. Maybe China's the key here. If China realizes that the prolonged war in Ukraine hurts them economically, they have the ability to cut Russia off, basically.
But it's also perfect cover to start their own war for Taiwan.
In Taiwan, or to just spread their economic influence in other places where the rest of the world can't focus. I understand that. But Russia is now the client state in that relationship.
Right.
And so China has the ability to do that if they wanted to. They just have to want to. And to your point, maybe they don't want to. Maybe this just goes on forever. I mean, the war in Darfur,
not forever. Yeah, I mean that
years old. That war doesn't seem to stop.
Well, it's going to be eventually. It's going to be a change in Russia. Eventually, right? Like at some point,
he's going to have to die. I mean, that's at some point, Putin's going to die.
Yeah, and there'll be a change, and it's like, but then the question is, what does that look like? Because there's no opposition. I mean, let me not say that, but the actual opposition leader is gone, right? In Russia,
Navalny's dead.
Exactly.
That mercenary dude is dead.
Dead, yeah. Prigoni, right? Yeah,
Prigozhin or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever his name is, he's Mitch McConnell now. So allegedly.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the other war?
Yeah, I mean, why are we stalling? Because we have another war to talk about. Yeah,
we have another war to talk about. This one's in Iran, and this one involves Americans, so we care about it more, except only very a little bit. So Iran is a country that's oh my God, Brian.
Crazy.
Brian, I'm taking your graphics away from you.
This is crazy.
That's not good. No, it's fine. Leave it up. It's very funny.
It is
okay. So Iran is a country that the United States is at war with and also not at war with, and we have a deal and also not a deal, and also they're shooting at our ships, and maybe they're Japan. We don't know. Nobody knows. Maybe they're Japan. Trump doesn't know anyway. So Trump goes to Turkey, and it is worth pointing out he flew to Turkey for the NATO summit to Ankara in his new fake Air Force One. But then when they were flying home and were going to be anywhere near the Iranian border, they switched to the real plane that has any of the defensive capabilities for obvious reasons. So also, yeah, Turkey shares a border with Iran, just to remind everybody. I don't have the globe, but yeah, they do. They share a pretty large border. So Iran maybe fired at a ship, or maybe the Americans shot at them first. It's not super clear. It doesn't really matter. Trump was there and lost his mind and started yelling the way he posts on his fake Twitter. So here we go. U.S. forces on Wednesday, that's yesterday, attacked Iran for a second consecutive day. Oh, good. Officials said hours after Donald Trump declared the ceasefire between Washington and Tehran, quote, over, and predicted that additional U.S. military action would, quote, probably occur. He does war the way John Madden used to do football. He's like, oh, the team with the most points is probably going to win this game. It's like, what do you mean?
Boom.
Boom. Tough acting, tenactin.
Yeah.
Tomahawk.
Right through the, right through the turkey hole.
Damn. See, Madden's getting everybody. American forces carried out the strikes at the direction of the president, quote, to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, which there isn't currently and has not been since he started this stupid war.
There used to be,
for like ever, literally ever. The waterway has been a source of friction both militarily and economically in recent weeks, as Iranian forces have been accused of attacking commercial vessels, and the United States has responded. Trump, writing on fake Twitter, characterized the renewed assault as, quote, retribution for yesterday's bombing of ships by Iran, which he called Japan. If it happens again, it will get much worse, the president warned in his post, which was accompanied by an image of billowing fire. Because why not? Like, we just need more AI slop.
We're wasting fresh water.
Wasting fresh water to generate stupid slop for this stupid president to post on his fake Twitter to antagonize a country that doesn't read it or care. It's like... God.
And who's also better at doing the thing he is trying to do.
Yeah, the Persia boy is kicking his ass at the meme war. Trump said that U.S. hit Iran very hard last night. Maybe he was the one helping the Pfizer HQ.
And
we probably hit them hard again tonight.
Oh.
In response, Melania said, "Oh, thank God it's not me." Yeah. Oh, I was suggesting that he's physically violent. I was suggesting the other thing. Yeah. Don't worry. He's got that 34-year-old in her Post-it notes now to focus on. President also suggested that the U.S. could reimpose a naval blockade on Iran. They did snap the sanctions back on. So Iran got to sell a bunch of oil at market price for like 3 weeks, make a butt ton of money, and then used it to attack, and the Americans are like, "Hey!"
And you might argue the blockade. You might argue the blockade was actually the most successful thing they've probably done. To be honest,
the blockade was working.
Yeah,
but also the JCPOA was working.
Right.
So whatever. Oil prices briefly spiked, but as Kai Ristall noted today, the markets are idiots. And so, like
today, he noted that he notes it every day. It's like every 3 days.
Specifically today, he's like, I know we've said it before on this show, but I want to reiterate: the market is an idiot. And then he says, with the war in Iran escalating and stuff, you would expect to see a spike in oil prices and a drop in stocks, but that's not what happened. And he's right; that's not what happened because the market is an idiot.
I mean, even just around I don't think you see oil in any. I think 125 to 130 is the highest it goes. I don't like that old talk of like going to 200 and shit like that.
No,
I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's
the demand will stop anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
We may have already hit peak demand, I think, worldwide.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting that I wonder if the inflation shock of COVID has actually insulated us, or not insulated us, but made this new inflation shock more bearable. Like in the sense, because like consumers are still spending, and I know there's a difference in that of like, because it's high end consumer. Like it's
also consumer spending out of necessity. That's the thing that never gets like added onto that sentence, and they say, "Oh, consumer spending is up." It's because prices are up. It's not that we're buying more stuff; it's that we're buying the same stuff at a higher price.
But we didn't stop buying.
We haven't stopped buying yet, but what you have seen is a big rush, and these are like fundamental changes that are long term and echoing. You've seen a big rush towards hybrids and EVs, specifically hybrids, because people really they're now cost competitive, like across the board, both with the full EVs and against the gas vehicles. If enough people are onto the hybrids and the EVs, that necessitates a drop in demand for gasoline. And worldwide, the peak combustion vehicles was 2018. We've been selling more worldwide. There have been more EVs than internal combustion vehicles for almost a decade now.
And China's going to drive that even higher, right?
It's and what we're seeing with the shock here is that, especially in developing markets where car ownership is less ubiquitous, but people are making that choice for the first time, they're looking around at this and going, I never want to have to experience this problem. I don't want to ever be dependent on gasoline for anything. And they're just going straight to EVs. So there is that insulating factor. And then the sort of localized ability to produce and refine that the United States has is in some ways also a bit insulating. But keep in mind, if people really maybe don't understand this, that the U.S. refinery system isn't mostly built to handle the type of oil that the United States produces. It's mostly built to process oil from places like Venezuela, like Saudi, and like on the West Coast, they're producing and refining, but they're also like refining a lot of stuff from Brunei or the Indonesia area and stuff like that. So it's just not we're not self-sufficient in that regard. So the oil, the global oil aspect of it, I mean, you saw OPEC made a change. Yeah, they decided to increase production. Which is a little backwards, right? Because then you say, oh, well, then they're going to drive prices down. They don't really have the ability to increase the production to the level that they wanted to hit, I don't think. So I think it's more of a aspirational number. I don't really see how this calms down. I agree with you that it doesn't get above 125. Yeah. But I don't see it restoring to 60 anytime soon. And I think that maybe Americans and the rest of the world will adjust to the new normal of 350 gas. And that'll either be reflected in inflation that trickles through the whole market and the whole economy in terms of increased wages and in terms of increased prices for everything that's energy dependent. Or it won't, and you'll see it cause a major drag on economic growth and cause possibly a recession. Or both things could happen. We could have inflation and a recession, which we've talked about on this show before. It's nearly impossible, but Donald Trump can find a way to do it. So,
God forbid that AI bubble pops, or when it pops.
Yeah, I don't know how much is leveraged against that. That's a thing that is like, I'm very concerned about. It's more stock than bond, which is probably helping to keep that a little more honest. But yeah, that is a big question. And also the crypto bubble, like that's heavily leveraged. So I think that's maybe a bigger risk to the macro economy. This is turning out to be a great show, by the way.
I know, right?
Everybody's really
very DJ to ourselves. All right, hold on.
Like listening to us pretend to be Marketplace.
Marketplace, exactly.
Marketplace After Dark. It's even drier than the regular show. And we might have less qualifications than everybody else.
We might be able to so many less qualifications. We might be able to pitch that.
Yeah. Hey, you want to listen to two idiots who listen to the real show and then regurgitate it at you, but with less capability? Yeah, we got that. We're great at that.
We're good at that.
What happens when two public radio nerds get together and discuss the economy at length for even longer than public radio? Find out in a 3-hour episode of Marketplace After Dark.
After Dark.
Yeah. Whoosh. Quiet Storm.
Yeah, exactly.
of economics. Yeah. Also, the Iranians were like shooting at all the Gulf allies again. They're trying to cut a deal like separately to like get out of this thing. Like economics notwithstanding, the geopolitical and like structural change that this war has wrought on our security establishment it's not fixable, like at all. Nobody will ever accept the Americans putting a base in their country ever again. That'll never happen.
I'm less even about this. It's just Donald Trump in general, right? He will not be here forever, but we will feel the effects of this 80 years from now.
Yeah, nobody outside of the country is going to differentiate between Trump and America. And so they're going to say, if we put an American base in our country, we become a target. That's just how it's going to go. And we're going to be like, no, that was the other guy. And they're like, no, you're all the same. You voted for him twice. It's fucking, we don't care. We don't trust you. We don't like you. Take your stupid face and go home. You know, and it's, we're never going to be able to put another base or expand a base in any country ever again. We'll probably lose basing in several countries as a result of all this. Like we weathered the Iraq war, which a lot of the world was pissed off about, but we were still able to convince them that they were more secure with an American base than not.
Right.
And now that has been shown to be completely opposite. That these countries, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, they're all vulnerable, have been attacked, have had people killed by Iran as a result of their cooperation with the United States. That's a terrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think Donald Trump is bad at diplomacy. And probably
it also just completely throws a wrench into the Abraham Accords, right? Like,
oh, come on.
I mean, because if you look at that as, if you start to say, oh, all right, well, we want to normalize relationships with Israel, and then Israel is kind of the catalyst to get this war started with Iran. And now the same countries that have signed on those accords are getting bombed because the United States is there and they are in this war because of Israel. It's like it's all up in the fucking air. Like,
well, the Iranians could very easily look at accords that has an American base and say, "Oh, you're in with the Israelis."
Yeah,
and you know what's Qatar supposed to say to that? What's the UAE supposed to say to that? I mean, they can be like, no, and then you'll be like, so do you have American bases? Because America and Israel are the same thing as far as the Iranians are concerned,
right?
It doesn't help that Israel's busy genociding everything. So, like,
right.
That's
that war we didn't have time to put into this show.
You want to know what's jeopardizing the Abraham Accords? Go look at Gaza. You know, there was a simpler time when we could have convinced everybody in that region, Iran included, during the JCPOA like adherence, to just everybody put aside your differences and make a ton of money, and in 2 generations you'll never care about this again.
Right.
And Donald Trump was like, oh, that looks too easy. Fuck that noise. And he ripped that shit up. I almost feel like he just looks around for things that people are enjoying and then fucks them up. He's like, oh, you like that reflecting pool? Huh? Fuck that shit.
I'm with you on this.
You like that golf course down at Haynes Point, huh? Fuck that noise. I'm going to bulldoze that shit. Yeah. I'm going to dump it in the tidal basin. Yeah. You like those cherry blossoms? Fuck those cherry blossoms.
And now that stupid golf course at this point, now Langston is always packed.
Yeah, because
it's all
down at Hayes Point.
Yeah, it's packed. And then I was playing with a fellow black gentleman the other day, and he was joking. And he said he wasn't joking. He was telling me a story. He said, I was playing with this white guy, and he was telling me, he's like, oh, are you familiar with Langston? It's a great course. And he said, I had to pause and look at it for a minute. And I was like, oh, that's kind of
Who does he think that course is named after?
I know.
This is bad.
What? It's bad. But yeah, no, this, I mean, I also think I I still don't know who we're negotiating with in Iran. Like,
we're negotiating with the Japanese apparently. So who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. We're with the guys the Israelis are about to kill that we're like headsing them up about. Like, this is the most like really topsy-turvy, ridiculous kind of version of this you could imagine.
It's because of Donald Trump.
Yes.
It's the only reason. It's the only reason.
I remember years ago trying to explain to somebody like what AQI was and how it became ISIS and like the relationship between the Sunni awakening and the tribal groups and like the Shiite domination and how the Americans had come and destabilized all it. And at the moment that I was doing it, I remember like I was drawing it on a board. I was so trying to keep track of all of it. And I was like, this is a very complicated thing to try to explain to somebody about a region that like we're never going to go to, like personally. And I thought that was the most complicated version of that kind of explanation I could ever have had to deliver. And now it's like, oh, we can't even have any conversation about this unless both of us have spent hours and hours reading every possible publication about all of this stuff just to get the baseline and learn who the players are. It's like Tolstoy on top of Shakespeare complicated. You could never figure this out. And now we're stuck in it, shit. And the dumbest person possible is in charge of figuring this shit out. Lil Marco was out today trying to like convince the NATO friends to be like, hey, don't you want to come and like do some stuff? There's a headline in this.
There was.
What was the headline? Rubio tries to enlist other nations in Antifa fight.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah.
What? Dude, everybody already hates you and your ears are bigger than your face. And nobody like, guy, are they oblivious? I don't even fucking know. I'm done with them. I can't waste any more brain on them. I'm gonna turn out brain pudding like him and be fucking tweeting at 2 in the morning.
None of it makes sense. That just doesn't make any sense.
All right, you want to take a break and then talk about something that makes even less sense called the U.S. Senate?
That body.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm going to say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like the frogs. Gay. Friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm going to say it real slow for you. Frogs. Place point. The paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks. You're full of shit. Pumpkin possums. I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Oh, there's energy and now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one. I know what you are now. Witches and warlocks. You're full of shit. Pumpkin possums. I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's Witches and warlocks, you're full of shit. Pumpkin popsums, I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Witches and warlocks, you're full of shit. Pumpkin popsums, I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Because every god thing.
All right, well, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping, y'all?
Yo.
The
All right.
original.
Also, before we give the standard disclaimer, you can go to the Onions.
I literally have that. I have that up right now. It's funny you said that.
Yeah. What is it? What is it showing you?
Oh, well, actually, I had up more that I was going to say similar to our pledge here to make sure folks here go to donate to the Sandy Hook Promise. Their first thing they're going to do is give $100,000 of merchandise sales away to Sandy Hook Promise. So,
Yeah, and if you now if you Google InfoWars, the first thing that comes up, I think, is the archives of the old InfoWars, and then if you go to the actual Infowars.com, it just has a sign that says off air.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's
But
great.
it's supposed to be coming soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching all the preview clips and stuff, and it's very funny stuff, and looking forward to it. All right, let's talk about the Senate.
I am the Senate.
Yes, well, he was. So, just for, I don't know, the non-Americans who might be listening, so that you understand, the United States has 3 branches of government. One of them is called Congress. They don't like that they're a branch of government, and they would rather not be there at all. And Congress is made of 2 houses. One is called the House of Representatives, which is usually when people say Congress, that's what they were referring to. And then there's the Senate. Senate is a Roman word. Do you know what it actually, or Latin word, do you know what it actually means?
I should know this off the top of my head. I've read this many times and I'm blanking on this.
It means old man. Like old man. That's it. Senate, right? Senior senator. Yeah. Senator is an old man. He's a verb of olding. He's and the idea was that the senators in Rome, they were old and wise and therefore would make good decisions, right? Now, in the United States, our Senate has a minimum age of 73 and a maximum age of several hundred. And Mitch McConnell has been in the United States Senate since the 13th Amendment was signed in 1865. He's one of the people who voted against it. And he is maybe dead. He might not be able to hear this right now. We don't know. There he is. MIA Mitch McConnell. That's very funny. I wouldn't say he was missing in action, Brian. I would say he was missing in action. That was funny. No. Give it. All right. So staff from Mitch McConnell said last week that the Kentucky senator, quote, is continuing his recovery in a hospital while the Senate is out of session, but his office has released no details about the former Republican leader's condition during
the former is crazy.
Yes. Well, he's not a former Republican, he's a former leader.
Okay, yes. Yes, you're right. At first I feel like former, like he's not, we're really beating the dead horse.
Oh, because he's from Kentucky. It's bad. Okay. So yeah, nobody knows what he's in the hospital for. He's just been there for like a month. And
sometimes I vacation at the hospital.
Yeah, you hang out there at the most expensive place you could imagine. It's very exclusive. And there's a problem with this. I mean, number one, it's like, where is this guy? This is kind of important. He's an important person. We need to know where he is, for basic safety and all of that kind of stuff. Who knows if his China family has taken advantage of him and gotten all the money or whatever. His wife has moved back to China, by the way. That's Hong Kong, actually. But you remember that there was a guy called Blankenship who was running for Senate in West by God, Virginia, where Mitch McConnell is not a senator. and he mostly ran ads attacking McConnell, who was, again, not from West Virginia. And he talked about McConnell's China family. And that's because his wife is of Chinese descent.
Right.
She's not Chinese.
Right.
Her father is born in Hong Kong, but she's American. But that didn't matter to Doug Blankenship, who is a guy who owned a coal mining company that caused an explosion and killed a bunch of miners. And then he went to jail for that for a little while. And then he ran for the Senate and accused Mitch McConnell of cocaine trafficking, which is why we call him Cocaine Mitch. And then his China family and a bunch of other great stuff. You should definitely go look that up. But anyway, yeah, so like she's moved away. Nobody seems to have any like contact with him. And then this like really strange thing happened that people started like demanding proof of life. Like, are you alive?
Yeah.
So the governor of Kentucky is a guy called Andy Beshear. He's a Democrat, and he sent this letter to McConnell, and it was only like one sentence or two sentences or something like that. And let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe I don't have that quote in here, but it basically says like, "Are you alive? The people of Kentucky deserve to know. Love, Andy." And that was it. And it matters because like the people of Kentucky deserve representation in the Senate, and there's a problem with like the replacement, right? So
Yeah.
Here's the thing to just catch here we go into the minutia. You ready? This is going to be the funniest radio you've ever heard. The 17th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Do you know we have a Constitution? Calls for Senate vacancies to be filled by popular elections, but it allows state legislatures to empower governors to appoint an interim senator to serve through those campaigns. Most states have taken this option, according to the Congressional Research Service. Kentucky law allowed interim appointments until 2021.
Right.
When Mitch McConnell and other state Republican leaders persuaded the Republican-led legislature to make a change.
Because that's when Andy gets into office, right?
Right.
Right.
And they did not want Beshear to shift the partisan balance in Washington if he got the opportunity. So they see the writing on the wall.
Exactly.
2021, Beshear is elected. McConnell's old as dirt. They're like, we're pretty sure he's going to die. We don't want there to get to be a Democrat appointed in his seat. And so we're going to change the law to do this. Now, Governor Andy was like, no, and he vetoed that. But don't worry, the Republicans overrode the veto. They called for a committee of the previous senator's state party to select. Their new law calls for the previous senator's state party to select 3 people from which the governor could choose. So when McConnell admits to being dead, then the Kentucky Republican Party will put 3 names up for Beshear to decide between. So ensuring that there'll be another Republican. Kentucky lawmakers changed the law again in 2024 to require a special election. The only role the governor has is to call that election. And then Beshear vetoed the 2021 and 24 changes, but Republican lawmakers overrode them. The 24 law says that Beshear shall issue a proclamation for a special vote, but it does not say when he should make the proclamation. Now, in honor of Mitch McConnell, he should never make that proclamation. And he should just hold this up for
I literally was thinking the same thing.
Yes, he should issue a proclamation and have Merrick Garland read it. And, and just like stand there and be like, all right, yeah, we're not
But there's a larger question there, right? At that point, because I think we've talked about this many times on the show. It's like, all right, when will Democrats use the same tactics against Republicans? But then on the flip side of that, are you going back to what you said earlier, that the people of Kentucky deserve to have a representative, right? So then you're kind of in that weird, like, all right, I could just not seat them, but now we don't have a second representative.
No, you fight fire with fire, and you decapitate the ability of the Republican Senate to do anything. This matters a lot, right? McConnell exists still on paper, and the margins in the Senate are razor thin. So him simply not being there changes the balance. They've got 52, not 53. It takes fewer defections. It takes fewer people in a filibuster. It's harder to reach a cloture vote by that one vote. So that all of that matters, and it matters even more in the committees on which he sits because they have now no majority.
Right.
They're deadlocked. So it stops everything dead in its tracks, almost as dead as Mitch McConnell. And it's going to be funny for a long time. Almost like how long Mitch McConnell's been dead.
This is approaching like Rush Limbaugh status.
Yeah. He's been sober for quite some time now. Very successful. Yeah. We are praying for Mitch McConnell. Whichever direction you want to take that.
Got it.
Yeah. So I say fight fire with fire. And see how many more Republican senators you can lose in a hospital bed for as long as possible. I don't know. I hear fellow Kentuckian Rand Paul is looking at his neighbor a little funny. Maybe he needs his ass kicked again. Mike Lee. Yeah. Go check out the Salt Lake. Go look and see what's under it, buddy. We really would love that. You could report back to us or not, whatever. There's certain ones that just, Tommy Tuberville fell out of an airplane. Did you see that?
I did not. I missed that.
Yeah. After making fun of Joe Biden for falling on the stairs going up Air Force One, he got out of an airplane onto some stairs and then fell down all of them. Yeah, that happened. Brian might be able to find the video, but they call him Tommy Tumbleville now. Wow. And yeah. Also, he was doing it in Florida, where he lives, while he's running for governor in Alabama, where he doesn't live, which is illegal in Alabama, where he doesn't live. This is a great time to be alive. Let's talk about Maine, because we have to talk about Maine. So, Maine is a state.
Silly. This is a silly story.
It's a silly story. Maine is a state. It only recently became a state. It used to be a part of Massachusetts until like about 10 minutes ago. And it has a population of 17 people now. And they don't speak English there because they're from Maine and nobody can understand them. That's all true. Also, despite it being in New England, Maine is like one of the most rural states in the country. It's also really poor, relatively speaking. There's a lot of these schools that have less than 100 kids in them and stuff like that, where there's one guy who's the fire chief and the mayor and also works in the post office and stuff. It's just a lot of really little tiny towns, and it's a very blue collar place for the most part. And Mainers they're tough people. They live in a harsh environment. The weather sucks. They have a fifth season called Mud. Where everything melts. That's true. And they just have mud everywhere where the snow used to be in. And it's also beautiful. If you've ever been in Maine or near Maine, you can appreciate the just endless beauty of the place. So it's a lot of stuff. But here's what happened. They have a senator called Susan Collins, who herself is a young 83 years old. And she is
10 terms. How many terms is she? No,
she's 6 terms. I think
10 would be crazy. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Congress. But
Strom Thurmond. Yeah.
Strom Thurmond.
She's up there though. She's 6 terms. That's 36 years, if anybody's counting. She's been a senator longer than a lot of people have been alive. And she has mastered the art of equivocation. She doesn't do anything ever. Her major contribution is being concerned about things. That's what she does. She issues a statement in where she says, I'm concerned about this, but she never does anything about it. She doesn't vote against things. She still votes with Trump all the time and then says she's concerned about him. She gave Brett Kavanaugh his seat. Great person. And she's not super popular in Maine. She's popular enough, but not very. So the Democrats saw this as an opportunity, and they had basically two candidates to choose from. They had more, but two rose to the top. One was the current governor. Her name is Janet Mills. She's 79, by the way. And then the other person was this guy called Graham Plattner. And he's a former Marine. He's an oyster farmer. I think he worked at a brewery for a long time.
Axios reported either today or yesterday that this oyster farmer shit might not really be the he said he makes very little money off of that. And we've been they basically were saying that because they basically were saying, as we have too, almost like we've been misreporting this a little bit. He's not he's not to say he's never did oyster farming, but it's not his main source of income.
It's not his main
no
gig.
No pun intended. It's not.
Hilarious source. Yes. Okay. So yeah, maybe he's an oyster farmer, maybe he's not. But his major appeal to the people is that he is a blue collar kind of guy.
Plain talking American.
Plain talking. He is very plain spoken. He is but he's preaching very progressive things. He's talking about Medicare for all. He's talking about sensible domestic policy in terms of taxation. He wants to make the billionaires pay their fair share. And he gets endorsed by Bernie Sanders and Liz Warren and the left side of the Democratic Party, while still sort of looking like and speaking like rural conservative voters. We have talked about on this show a lot of times that the Democrats' path to success in some of these areas where it's purple is to stop running nerds. You've got to run people who look like and sound like the people who they need to vote for them. Even if the thing they're saying is pretty left, pretty progressive, the people that they're speaking to really might actually like that idea. They just don't want it preached at them by some pencil neck guy from, an Ivy League school or something like that. Not to denigrate those nerds, but you know what I mean. And you gotta have somebody who cusses and works with their hands and looks like they do that. It's why guys like Gallego are able to win. It's why Plattner was so successful here. And so they go to the primary and he absolutely trounces Mills. He's got way more money. Everybody's invested in him, and he's just racking up interest. And so many people come out to vote for him in Maine. Okay, it's 150,000 people, which is a lot in Maine.
Yeah, but they came out.
Yeah, when I tell you the population of Maine is tiny, it's tiny. Okay, that's a huge percentage. But the whole time, through this campaign,
there's been we've seen the sparks, and because even from the beginning of this, you would see online and this is coming from the progressive side, right? As well. Yeah. Because people are saying, oh, well, Nazi tattoo or perceived Nazi tattoo. And it's all right. And with that one, I think I speak for a lot of folks where it's all right, man, that ain't really good. And maybe in another time, we probably should be nah, but we need the Senate.
Yeah.
And we move on. But then
you've announced that you've changed. You got it covered up. You had a plausible story about how you ended up with it. If we do believe that people can change and people can get smarter and the thing that we're asking the Trump voters to do, to recognize their flaw and come back to reality, we got to let our people do that too. We can't hold a purity test over everybody all the time.
We'll always fail.
Yeah, and the Republicans have learned. I mean, look at Kenny fucking Paxton. You know, like look at Trump. These guys have long since learned that to them the ends justify the means or the person. It does not matter to them how flawed or how terrible the person is, as long as their end goal, which in their case is power, is met. So if our end goal is Medicare for all, then maybe you have a bunch of unsavory people involved in it. Fetterman, for example, you know, but if he's going to vote the right way, then fucking let him wear his stupid hoodie.
Because we're here to count votes.
We are here to count votes. Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
So, so he has the tattoo.
And then we get the Reddit post.
We get the Reddit post. And he's saying, and the things he's saying in the Reddit post, what is he saying?
What was it? There was a couple of bad ones in there, right? What was the big one? Why am I blanking on it?
I think it mostly has to do with women.
It was that. There was something specific though about it.
Well, and I think it was stuff I didn't actually read it. I didn't want to read it, but it was things about like victims of sexual assault and why are they late to report it and what are they really after, or like, oh, get over yourself, you had a good time, you just didn't like it later or whatever, and that's not good. That's not good at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Sound the alarm. Grand Planet says sexual assault victims should take some responsibility and now deleted Reddit posts. Here they are. I'll read them off for you. I'll read some of them off since you haven't read them, and I've also we need to now be should at this point, whereas we'll get to the end of the story. These resurfaced comments come at the heels of similar Reddit posts that were uncovered this week, which include Planter saying people who live in rural Maine are, quote, actually are, end quote, racist and stupid, promoting violent political action, including saying an armed working class is a requirement for economic justice. Deeming all police are bastards and writing fuck these cops. Oh my God.
Wait, this got him thrown off the ticket so far?
Here we go. Here's a good one. Promoting racist stereotypes, questioning why don't black people tip, end quote.
Okay. There it is.
I was building you up to bring it right back down. Using slurs and telling people to go fuck off and die when asked about a recent vote against a power line in Maine.
What?
But again, I tip well. But I didn't get all my bartenders because actually there's a whole science into actually getting, there's a lot of return on investment if you tip well. You can actually pay a lot less.
Yeah.
I'm not here to give that sermon right now. But even with that, all right, cool. You know what? Outside the like women, the victim blaming shit there, that one there obviously isn't cool. And you kind of start like, hey, hold on. And then it's like, but we need to win. We need to win. The path to winning the Senate is not really possible unless we can get Susan Collins out of there. It's very slim to do.
So like at this point,
here. We're still there.
In the saga, we're still in, right? We're like, all right, this isn't great, but again, it was a long time ago. Maybe he's reflected on that. Obviously, stuff that I said in my 20s is not who I am now.
I'm also not a veteran. I think we took into consideration of that of him, and he did bring that up and saying he was going through a rough period when these things were posted.
He was drinking a lot. He had, PTSD. He's still suffering from some of those things. He has depression, and like who among us doesn't? And like again, these are all plausible answers to these problems. And I really do think that if you could look at what everybody said 20 years ago, there's no clean hands anywhere.
Nowhere.
Anywhere. So you just can't. All right. So we're still in. Then what happens?
Then we get that first accusation that comes out around his behavior with women. And I think, as I remember this, because I'm blanking on the woman's initial name, but I remember it being more like he obviously was in a sense to be drinking a lot, but like, and not that it was full on domestic like abuse yet,
I
but
think
it
they
was just
called it intimidation.
Intimidation that's exactly what it was. And it was like, and like I remember listening, like, because like I think it was one of the first initial daily story that they posted on this. They were kind of like, yeah, there were concerns, but he never actually like did like he didn't like hit me or anything. And like, but then even when that happens, and I remember a main voter on that show asking him, yeah, I think it was in like let us know now what the hell
Is
else
there
about
anything else we
anything
need to know?
Yeah, and even as she said that, I was like, oh yeah, this is clearly more is coming out. Clearly, because we've seen the nasty man behavior. Like we've watched this show before, and we've been watching it for I think it's maybe going on 10 years now. Well, Me Too. What is Me Too going on 10? Maybe it's
I don't know, a long time.
It's on it's close to 10.
These things don't happen in isolation, right?
They
If
don't.
it happens once, it's probably happened many times.
Behavior, yeah, it's a behavior, it's pattern behavior. So even then, I was like, but it's like, what would be the next thing to drop? And the next thing that dropped was like, oh yeah, this is over with because a rape accusation.
Well, and then it got even worse, right?
And then
the condom removal
is
stuff,
crazy.
And it gets even more complicated by the fact that one of the victims of these acts is a conservative activist.
Yes, yeah, that I'm blanking. Yes, yep.
And so people are like questioning the veracity of her claims, saying, are you really saying these things, or are you just doing it to damage him because you're trying to, keep the Senate? We are at such a partisan place in this country that we can't have even these kind of conversations without people being skeptical of the motives of people when they say things like this. It's very, very precarious to the e pluribus unum part of our union, right? That there aren't of many one, there are of many manys, so yeah, those accusations come out, and the pressure becomes too much, and the main Democratic Party and everybody else is like, you got to get out. And there's this like nick of time aspect to it, because if he gets out and files the paperwork by like Monday, then they can replace him on the ballot. Right. And he announced today or yesterday that he was going to drop, but that he wants the movement to continue.
I think you've done something with your mic and it's made some noise when you moved it. I don't know if it's there. You go.
I don't know. Is that better?
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So he says that he wants to, the movement needs to continue, and he's going to drop out, but he hasn't signed the paperwork yet. And there's some speculation that he and his campaign are trying to have some influence over who gets picked, to run, which I think is natural. I would expect that somebody would try to, they use their last lever of power. He posted some video today. He was clearly pretty angry about what all is going on. He may be angry at himself for like causing this problem where he basically got out over his skis on this. And all of this kind of gets down to this thing that we have talked about so many times of like vetting. Can you look before you get behind somebody and like do some basic research, ask around? And also, if you are this person, it, right? Don't fucking run.
Yeah.
Especially if you really do believe in the movement, you're damaging it by doing this. Don't do that. And thirdly, surely we can find, I know Maine's a small state, but surely we can find another decent, progressive, smart, well-spoken, plain-spoken, blue-collar individual who can run as good a campaign.
Because Maine voters want what he was selling. It's clear as day. It's clear as day that they want that. And I think I just feel very bad for them and anybody who supported him, because you thought you were supporting change, and unfortunately, he will not be that change. And I get to remember as well too, Kamala Harris won Maine.
She did. Well,
So,
and it's a state that statewide mostly votes Democratic, and Angus Young is the other senator there. So it's not like this is an impossibility. Collins has made a career of, like we said, doing nothing, and she doesn't.
and they're fed up. And I think the one thing he has done is he's painted that picture that more could be done.
Right. Because what she doesn't do is bring home the bacon.
Right.
And
exactly.
What she has made a career of is keeping out of trouble, but also she doesn't deliver for anybody in Maine. Like there's no signature projects or bridges or anything, named after her. And that's your number one job as a senator is to bring home federal money to your state. I don't care who you are, what party you are. That's your job. That's why everything in West by God is named Robert Byrd something.
Yeah.
That's his job. That was his job. I'm just wondering, like, why is it that we can't, like, the Republicans, fine. They can't run clean candidates because they don't care.
It's a dirty party.
They're a dirty party. We don't need to be that, though. And, like, again, this is an example of, like, we can't let these purity tests stop us because there's so many of those already.
Right.
And we're like, oh, well, you didn't fight against this ban against trans caterpillars that one time. It's like, okay, guys, come on. Like, we don't have to be 100% perfect all the time. I'm not 100% perfect all the time. But you know what? I'm not a sexual assault committer or anything like that. Like, this can't be that hard to find somebody else who isn't that. Tez, you and I were pretty notorious for the Hop Slam, right?
Yeah.
We like the beers. We like to hang out and do that. I'm not going to chalk it up to drinking, buddy, because whatever Plattner's issues are, like, I drink plenty. I don't do that. I've never done that.
Yeah.
It's not a problem for me. So I don't blame it on the alcohol. It's blame that on you're just a rapist, but then also, you're able to contain it for a while, I guess.
Or blame it on the alcohol because alcohol is showing the true person you really are.
Yeah, right. Okay, but don't blame the alcohol for being that person.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't make you that. You
were that.
Yeah. I know we can't say Bill Cosby jokes anymore, but one of the things that he used to say is he would ask, like, why do you do drugs? And the guy says, oh, well, it intensifies your personality. And he goes, what if your personality is an asshole? And it's like, well, it turns out Bill's personality was worse. But yeah, I mean, okay. So when I drink, I become more this. It's probably annoying as fuck for everybody around me, but Tez watches even more baseball when he drinks beer.
I do.
And reads even more books.
People have definitely caught me sitting at a bar reading.
Fucking nerd. So why can't we find people like you to run? Like, how hard can that be? I know why we can't find people like you in Maine for very obvious reasons. But there's not a lot of Cubans in Maine. But what are we doing here? So Plattner's got to go. We got to find somebody else.
Are we
Grab
finding
one of the
somebody
oysters, paint a face on it?
I don't know if we're fine. I don't think we're going to find somebody else. I think he might end up being the damn on the ballot. I think
he's got to sign the paper. We've got a few days.
I don't think he signs this. I don't think.
Why?
I don't know. I think he then it's guaranteed loss because you can't get the money. This is all about funding, and no one's going to fund this anymore.
The thing I'm always so worried about with these things is that, like, you get one of these guys who is everything right except for the sexual assault problem, and then the party and people are like, all right, that's a problem, we can't have that anymore, and they turn Fox News, and they go on conservative media and they go, see what happens, but these guys don't really believe in a movement. I was accused, but I was never convicted, and this is blah blah blah, and it's the witch hunt
because we've now blocked them out from being like, and maybe that's rightfully so. I mean, there's like so much but that does happen a lot. But then I also start wondering, like, this is just a reflection of our hate for women in this country, right? Because to your point, how hard is it to find these people? It maybe is really hard because the way women, the way that sexual assault is unreported, but if you've talked to almost any woman you've ever been involved with, most of them have stories of this.
Sure.
At some point, that lets me know that maybe there aren't men. Maybe there is. It's very hard to find men that have not done this.
Maybe.
I think we're looking at this through our prism, and we have this off. I think we're off on this. I think it actually might be very difficult to do that based on how often this happens.
That's really heartbreaking if that's true.
I think that's where we're at. I think if we're being very honest, right? The shit
bumming me
goes
out,
unreported.
man.
I don't mean to, sorry, but I'm just saying. This
Like
is the
everybody is a Cuomo. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
man?
I would lean to that. I would lean to that in this country. There is a more majority of men who have committed some type of sexual abuse or sexual assault than there are not.
There can't be that.
I guarantee you that the numbers will back that up.
I mean, it's 1 in 4 women have been assaulted that we know about. I'm sure it's higher than that.
It's higher than that. We know that it's higher than that. I'm sorry.
Man,
I'm watching I'm telling you, man. It's sobering, but I'm telling you that's what it is. I'm telling you that's what it is.
All right. There's 3 guys on this panel. Brian, have you ever done anything? He's going to admit to it. Brian, have you ever committed any sort of, violation of somebody's bodily integrity or even like scared them or threatened them or anything like that?
No.
All right. Brian's been on this planet for like 700 years. He's fine. Tez?
No, I mean, even just the thought of that, I don't even know how motherfuckers' dicks get hard to do shit after.
Yeah, I don't know how
it's weird. Like, it's very crazy to me. I'm like, it doesn't compute at all. Like the whole actually, like, anyway.
Any violent situation I've ever been in, I have not thought about my dick. How about that?
And then it's like, oh, this is clearly not about. It's about power and not sex, because like, how do you even like? Anyways, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze this.
All right, but so like amongst your friends,
yeah, I've had to cut people off for this. Close people, yeah. I won't go too deep in there. Yeah, yes, yeah, and didn't cut the person and didn't
like Brian is. I don't want to get anybody into this deep, but like Brian, have there been people in your life who you then found out had done something like that?
Yes.
Maybe I don't ask enough questions.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Because be careful, we might start losing friends, man. Yeah. This shit is happening often, man.
I kept quiet because I let you guys, do your spiel. Hearing the fact is like, mind you, I mean, the political game has always been very secretive of what they do behind closed door stuff. I mean,
that's why Matthew's out there with his like daylight thing, and he's gonna we're gonna show all the payoffs that the house has ever made.
I was gonna say there's a whole fund for this.
Yeah. There's, I mean, and mind you, for years, we, especially I would say in the last 20, everyone kind of jokes about it, but really it's like, no, this stuff happens. It's just, we get these little spurts, these little tidbits of certain things that has happened in the past and all this stuff. And again, we just laugh and joke it off and all that stuff. But seriously enough, if you do a full deep dive of this stuff, trust and believe, the whole thing about Monica Lewinsky, that is just a minor tip of the iceberg stuff. There's a whole bunch of things that have probably transpired since the birth of this nation. And it's just the fact that it's just now, since everybody's recording and over documenting certain things, and they want to expose this. I think when it comes to political candidates, and especially the male ones and the white male ones, they're going to be the most hurt. And that's why a lot of them, you, especially on the Republican side, you feel like, it's like, oh, he's a man's man. He's doing this. He can get through. He
it's
can
like
handle
standard Republican operating procedure.
Right. When it comes to the Democratic side, I think it's a tough task because of the fact that, you want to be the opposite of of a Republican person, mainly a Republican man. And when you hear the fact of like certain allegations happening to it, like former presidential candidate Kerry, and when his stuff came out, it killed him. It killed his
Not Kerry.
political
What Edwards, right?
Yeah, Edwards.
Edwards, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Edwards. Yeah, don't take out John Kerry. Like,
Yeah, John Kerry didn't do nothing.
yeah. Well, we don't know though. He's a white man. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like is the impunity of white men in America so strong that they just all, even if they don't vote and don't like Swalwell. I mean, like that's what
And they'll flip that too and be like, "This is attack on men." Like this is how
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
it's so stupid.
But it's the same thing with race in this country now. That it's like it's flipped. That it's like it's a reverse racism. Like it's almost like they're saying which reverse sexism because now we're calling out that like, hey, you can't fucking force yourself on women. I mean, we just gave these women the right to vote like 2 seconds ago. All right, we don't like women in this country. Okay, it's clear. You don't like them. Men don't like women in this country. I swear.
Yeah, but adding on to that and adding on to what Chip said, I really think that the unfortunate thing is that with the Democratic Party, it is pretty much its founding, or its, I wouldn't say founding, it's more of its massive progressive push has been mainly by women, both white, black, Asian, Hispanic. It's been women because of the fact is like they view how since Kennedy, it is the viewpoint of where this country needs to be in a more, diplomatically, democratic situations and things of that nature. A man, especially a white man, cannot handle. And I feel like that's the sad thing of how Hillary and Kamala lost these things because for whatever reason, the mindset of a majority of these Americans who voted for that knucklehead orange peel twice realize the fact is like, look, he does not view the way a actual woman would, because majority, if you look how the world has become now in the political schemes, you're seeing more and more women in top positions. That's why he can't handle it. That's why Putin can't handle it. And that's why Netanyahu can't handle it. Because most of these women are like, we ain't down with this shit because they're going to mother them. And that's what they get. In a way, I really think in this day and age, in this political scheme, you need a mother to come in and lay down the law on a lot of things.
I'm fully there with you on that as well, too.
Yeah, I think Brian's right.
Because I think all the things that the stereotypes that we throw at women around why you wouldn't want them in political office is actually the complete opposite. I think about how we address things, whether it's war, climate, everything you accuse, like they'll be right. Like, I think they actually are better positioned to solve those issues than men are. Like just in general, I think especially to drive like what a strategy would look like to do it because of being more empathetic or things of that nature. I do think those are strengths.
I don't even think that there's a reason to ascribe certain attributes to one group or another, but men
aren't exhibiting it when they're in office.
It's clear as day that this problem isn't liberals or conservatives, it's men in general, and they're the men are the ones committing these assaults, and it's men that are doing all of this horrible shit. That's not to say there aren't also women doing horrible shit.
Correct. Yes, but we know, but that's happening at a far lower clip. Like I wouldn't say that
either. No, because mind you, again, yes, again, the joke has always been, men, they're willing to exploit their exploits while women keep it within themselves. The key thing here is like you said about how men are so overly aggressive. I'll give you two women who kind of avoided going to war with certain top tier nations: Cleopatra and Nefertiti. Those two pretty much rule their nation and tried to stay out of a lot of deep shit. And mind you, they had their feminine wiles and all that stuff to keep things calm, but at least mentally they realized that it's like, hey, I'm not going with you, Caesar. No, I'd rather be in bed with you, even though I don't like you. But hey, I'm willing to say to keep peace between our nations. I'm cool with that. I think that's the real. I really think it's like, the stuff that we hear from Trump or tweets or truths, as he puts it, is just overly aggressive, mindless, and pointless because it doesn't benefit anybody. When it comes to a lot of these, women politicians, except for that Paraguayan, which we'll probably talk about later.
Oh, God.
Their main objective is like, hey, we need to, it's about building what we have, try to flourish as best as we can. And especially not to be in crazy escalated or over escalated situations that we don't need to be involved in.
I think that if you look even in the last 100 years, the sort of recent history of like women heads of state who have been able to there are examples of bad ones. Bangladesh comes to mind.
Yeah.
Caused a revolution. I would say Pakistan, there's another pretty clear example where just because the leader is a woman doesn't mean that she's not also a repressive dictator or whatever. Right. So humans can be pretty shit.
Yes.
In general. I think if there's any real clear thing here, it's that to steer clear of these kinds of problems. I'm not saying there's not other problems,
right?
But to steer clear of sexual assault allegations, Democrats should be a smarter party about either vetting the shit out of any man who runs for any office or electing more women or nominating more women to these positions so that we don't have this surprise come up 6 weeks before an election.
We ain't never heard for any woman that's ever ran for office. I've never heard of a sexual assault allegation. Maybe it's out there. I've just never heard of it. Okay.
What we've heard about is things like Kristi Noem and what she did at DHS, and stuff. We heard about DeReamer and Department of Labor and what she was doing,
right,
with stuff. It's not that it doesn't happen, but that it seems to me that like you could avoid this story by nominating more women. I really, and what problem like isn't solved there? Can women speak just as plainly about the issues? Surely they can. Can they be as exciting and energizing to a crowd? Surely they can. So like, there's no downside to it. Just avoid the problem. Like that. That's it. Democrats fucking nominate more women. We don't have this problem. I'm not saying that there's not other problems.
There are other problems. Yeah.
There can be other problems. There can be rampant corruption. There can be all kinds of other things, right? But that could be anybody. What you're not going to get is sexual assault. Probably not, or at least less. All right, let's talk about other stuff because there is like one other big thing that we need to talk about that happened locally, which is that these what do they call Patriot Front, right? Is that the name of them?
Front,
yeah.
Yep.
So one of the things about living in DC is that occasionally you got to deal with like the Klan just showing up, and you also have to sort of like quietly let them do it because they have a First Amendment right
to
assemble as long as they're peaceful and don't do anything stupid. I guess you got to let them be there.
You do. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was several hundred, I think what's the term they like? Virgins, assembled here in DC. They rode the metro from New Carrollton to Union Station.
Did they pay?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, what they did with they had there's video of them collecting up their smart chip cards afterwards, so they couldn't be traced. So like they all, you can't use a fare card anymore, right? So you have to have the Smart Trip
Right.
card, and that's a little more traceable because it's tied to credit cards or whatever else. So they
Yes.
bought all these things with whoever like their quartermaster is. So there's this video of the
Jimmy
guy
Thompson.
standing there at the New Carrollton Metro with the little bag, and as these guys scan and go through the gates, then they walk up to him and drop their card in the bag and walk off to their next, like to the trucks that they arrived in. So they like to travel in rented U-Hauls in the back of the U-Hauls, much like the Mexicans they like to deport. And they call them Mexicans. And they also love to wear these masks that they definitely said were killing them during COVID. And then they wear the aviator sunglasses, and then they've got khaki hats and khaki pants and blue shirts. They look like what happens if a Blockbuster employee got a face mask and a bad attitude. And so they descend on Union Station and they march around with their Confederate flags and stuff, which again is very unsettling for everybody. And there's this great photo.
You're a loser. You're an actual loser.
Yeah, they're actually parading around with the flag of a loser.
If you are running around a Confederate flag.
It's a little like being a Cleveland Browns fan. It's like, you're not going to win. You haven't won. You're just
They also cover their face.
Yeah, they use the paper bags. Remember, that's their whole thing. So, and then there's this like iconic photo now of this poor woman sitting on the metro surrounded by these idiots. And she's this like just sitting, I guess she was on her way to work or something like that. And here come all of the Klan, and she's black and they're all in there. And like, they have to behave themselves. Right. And they're probably like also polite in their like general interactions.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all performance. Like when they don't have their masks on and they're not like marching with their buddies, they carry on. They're in like polite society, acting like normal people. So like these could be people, and everyone's like, well, where are the cops? And like, well, they're there. They're wearing the masks. And that's why you can't see them. What are we supposed to do about this?
I think you allow it. Yeah, as long as it stays peaceful, yeah, they have the right to assemble as everybody else does, and yeah, but that's it. I don't like it, but I also don't like running down, like if I'm on friggin' F Street or some shit, running errands downtown, and I gotta see a bus of friggin' kids that come out with MAGA hats on that I also believe is just basically a different Confederate flag. But what am I supposed to do? You're allowed to do that.
Cool. I guess so. I don't know.
You are.
Okay, so the answer to that is, in general, I fucking hate all the tourist buses. They like fuck up my life. Like they are the worst. They make my commute twice as long. And they're all here to like go to the museums that they hate or something. Like go away.
Yeah.
Go take a tour to Nebraska with the other white people.
I got inside of me. I'm just like, but the tourist money, it's a budget deficit right now, guys.
Yeah, we'll take your money.
It's not looking good going into next year, fiscal year. It's like we might need these people to spend a little more money here. Like
they ain't spending no goddamn money. They're going to the Smithsonian. That's free.
They gotta eat.
Going to the zoo. That's free.
They gotta eat.
Yeah, that's true. They do gotta pay to eat.
Man, they spend money on Metro.
Yeah, that kinda. They're riding in their buses. They're not Metro. Well, they are. They do fuck up the Metro too. There'd be like a gang of them getting off the train, not knowing how to operate it and stuff like that, and they like jam up, getting in and out. Yeah, they stand to the left. Fucking escalafters. That should be legal. You should be allowed to stab people who stand on the left.
They stopped.
No, if Brian, here's your cause. You want to make Metro great again? That's what you do. You allow vigilante justice on escalafters. If you want to stand on the escalator, it's fine. There's a whole right side of the escalator for you to do that shit. Get the fuck out of my way. I'm walking.
The following comments that we expressed today are not expressed jointly by those of Chip Chat, Tez, or Brian Whiteman Live.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do not endorse that statement or some of those headlines.
Cowards.
That's fine.
Cowards. All right, so we have to just let the clan do the things. Is it right to like laugh at them and point and stuff?
You're allowed to do that. Yeah, you're allowed to do that. Yeah.
What if you can antagonize them into like taking a swing and then you know clobber them? Is that cool?
I mean, there was a lot of them.
There was a lot of them, more than usual. Usually they're in like 10 or 15.
It was a lot.
Like a couple hundred.
So you could do that, but I mean, make sure you have your reinforcements ready to go. I don't know how many of those guys are real fighters, but you know.
Well, you know, they wasn't on the green line. That's what I'm saying. So
right.
And come up to Columbia Heights and try that shit.
The coalition of black, brown, progressive.
That's what I'm saying. Columbia Heights, black, brown, and gay. That'd be a great. Could be protesting in Shaw and get your ass kicked by 3 different groups of people all at once.
Yeah, that'd be fucking insane. Actually,
that'd be great. Yeah, come on.
They're allowed to do that though. They're allowed to do this.
Pansy ass Klansmen. All right, let's talk very briefly about FIFA. So are we a real football nation now because we tried to bribe our way out of a red card? Does that make us real footballers?
No.
It's a very
it is very
FIFA-ish, babe.
Once that happened, I said, "Oh, they're gonna lose." I said
we were gonna lose anyway. It's Belgium.
I don't think the red card should have been called anyways.
No, that's the thing, right? The red card was fake in the first place. I think Belgium bribed FIFA to call the red card to take Balogun out of the game in case, you know, and then like once he got restored, then they like disrespected the shit out of us by not even playing half their squad, you know, and still beat us badly because our goalie sucks. They should have put in former Arsenal great Matt Turner.
Really weird with Freeze on that.
Freeze froze, and that was stupid.
Definitely froze.
I played keeper for like a lot of my soccer career, and if you're outside the 18, you're not the keeper anymore. You're just a fullback. Fucking kick the ball. Yes. Don't hesitate. Don't play around with it. Never. That's another thing. Like, stop playing it back to the keeper after he fucked up like that, man. Just clear this shit.
Yeah.
Give him the goddamn throw in. It doesn't matter. Just get it the fuck away from the goal.
No, you're right.
It's like basic shit, man. You learn that from like when you're 10. Kick the ball forward and to the sides. Never across the goal. Stop that shit. Oh my God. American soccer sucks. It is just like so god awful to watch.
There you go. You're here. You're here finally. You come around.
Yes. I've been saying that. I didn't believe. I was never one of those.
Okay.
Forget it. I was impressed we got out of the group. All right. Did it matter?
Which part?
Yeah, it mattered.
We bribed our way through the getting out of the red card.
I think, listen, because we'll be further discussed on No Filter Sports next week. It is for this group. Let's put it this way: for this U.S. team, I think I was impressed with what they did, except for the Belgian game. The Belgian game, I think, was a clusterfuck. I felt that there's a good foundation to improve from here on out. Because you can kind of tell like Portugal, Argentina, who else is leaving? Mexico, you know, you have a lot of older players. Germany.
Yeah. The age is showing.
Yeah, the age is showing. And I think for, you know, my main thing, especially for the last three World Cups, the US team was we had good players, but we never had an actual decent team. And I think this was a decent team to have and to support and to build from. And I think with this good young group of players and Pulisic being, you know, the head guy, I'm cool with this. I feel like there's something to build from here. My main concern or main thing is I wish it wasn't here. And it's not just because of traffic or anything else. I just felt like it is the political climate and a president that just wants to be in front of everything because he was like that last year with the Club World Cup. I didn't want that. I don't want that presentation. I wish it was in Mexico by itself or Canada by itself, not here. I think we overexposed our hand by taking advantage of certain things, and that red card situation exposed that. We already know
agree.
FIFA's fucked up. We already know FIFA's corrupt. So, but this, having the US be involved, because we were always known as like, hey, we'll just play the game and fight through all this stuff. What Trump did and put his damn small hands into this shit screwed everything.
Yeah, everything with him has to. I mean, he ruins literally everything he touches. So he gets involved in U.S. men's team, we fucking lose. I take Carly Lloyd's point also that Pulisic really needed to have stepped up and been a bigger factor in this whole tournament. He was not a factor in this tournament.
And the way it ended in that damn match, like, does he not get booed the next time he plays in friggin' United States?
I don't know what his deal is, that like he's such a good club player and then he's just such a disappointment at the national level. I almost feel like
he can't be. You either got to be like exceptionally excellent, or you have to be interesting, and he is neither to me.
He's neither. He's almost forgettable until you are reminded by the announcers, oh yeah, that's Christian Pulisic. Like there's nothing. He's not the Flash. He's not interesting. He's not fun. He's not creative. He's
terrible at media.
He's bad at media, and the goals that he scores in club games are sometimes really spectacular. I'm not going to say they're not, but he just doesn't seem to bring that same intensity to the national team when he's here. And I don't know if it's just a factor of not spending enough time together or what, but he just doesn't look like he does when he's playing in Italy or England or wherever.
Well, that's what like a lot of the American players who come to this team. I mean, like I said, like you can go back to, the Donovan era or even before that. A lot of these guys, full well, they played overseas. And once they get together, it's kind of like, okay, I got to work with this dude and all that stuff. And
I know that part of it's kind of hard. And the other countries still have that problem too. But if you look at the level of intensity with which, like, some of the other big stars, how they behave on their club teams and then how they behave on the national team, and obviously Messi and Mbappe or whatever, like that's the thing. But just the level of try hard, that's the difference. Is you see that they can do it. Tyler Adams tries really hard everywhere he is, right? That guy is like, he burns a candle at all ends all the time. Like Gio Reyna, like, could not care less about the U.S. team. It just seems so obvious that Pepe doesn't care about this fucking team. There's no urgency. They don't play with any push. And even the games that we won, like it just didn't, it's kind of like
the first game they looked like they cared and like they were here. That looked like a different team to me.
But then the rest of the games didn't look like that.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's disappointing. The last part about this is 14th Amendment on Flo, right? He's not an American soccer player unless the 14th Amendment works. And here's Trump trying to get him deported and get his red card suspended at the same time. How do we handle that?
It's just off of this damn beat of bullshit. It's just like,
what's the cognitive dissonance level of something like that?
It's just a crazy timeline we're in. It's that. It just is that.
If you interview Flo Balogun, he doesn't sound American.
At all.
At all. He sounds as British as Tez. All right. Well, the most important thing is that Jordan Pickford's still in, and he's going to be great.
And he looked good.
He looked good. Well, everybody's like, man, Pickford's, amazing at saving these crazy shots. I'm like, yeah, he's used to it because his defense never fucking helps him. And so he always has to do everything. And then everyone's like, he yells at his players a lot. I'm like, right, because he's used to his defense never fucking helping him. If I had $1 for every time I was yelling at Tarkovsky or Mikolenko to like actually get back on D, I would be so rich right now. It's so fucking frustrating, but whatever. All right, that's it. It's an early show tonight. We finished
Look at
early.
that.
Yeah, we've come to the end of the show.
Wow.
We want to say thank you to our radio partners, the Black Panthers, the People's Party, and Occupy Wall Street. Want to say thank you to NOTN for keeping us on for another week. Brian Slow on the graphics. Nobody cares. Let's see. Who else we want to thank? Oh, thanks to our home on the interwebs. There's NOTN. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway and Rip Radio, making us out as smooth as most powerful airplanes. All right, where can everybody find you on the socials?
You can find me on Blue Sky at DC Cortez.
All right, you can find me and the show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR, although very rarely. And you can find the show on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. And you can, of course, find me on the Blue Sky at Chef Chip. And you can find us every Thursday night at 9:30 here on Beltway Radio. Next week, our guest is Jason Samenow of the Capital Weather Gang, or Capital Weather, the new CapitalWeather.com. So having respun themselves back out of the Post, we're going to talk to them about that whole story. It's probably going to be the whole show. It's going to be amazing. Right. It's very inside DC, but it's going to be really cool. I got a lot of weather questions to ask. It's going to be amazing. I'm hoping that he can hook me up with the control device that I'm supposed to get from my bar mitzvah present. So, yeah, we're going to have a great time. So tune in next week. Jason Samenow is going to be on. It's going to be really cool. And yeah, that's the show. Brian's in the background plotting his revenge against the Klan on the Metro. I don't know how he's going to do that. And Tez is thinking of more Viagra jokes. And I'm Chip. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Street balls with Viagra.
Street blue balls.
Chip Chat Radio. We got so much, so give you the news in case you didn't know. Keep the public well informed of the topic. Sometimes the news today is hard to process. That's why Chip and Tez will help you out, let you know what we're all about. We may tell jokes, we may dream it